you're 36 years old. Healthcare has its own language, and sometimes that language is wildly out of step with reality. So if you've been called a geriatric pregnancy, let's talk about what that actually means, because yes, it is still a real term, and it's still used in real charts for anyone pregnant at 35 or older. Now, let me tell you, I just barely escaped this one with my second. I turned 35 the month after he was born. Now, the more recent version of this is advanced maternal age, AMA. A little more neutral, I guess. So here's what it actually means in practice. Your provider will offer additional monitoring and screening. And that's it. That's the whole definition. It does not automatically mean you are high risk. It means the medical system draws a line at 35 and starts watching more closely. Right now, more babies in the U.S. are being born to women in their 30s than any other age group. 1.1 million births last year. And the only age group that actually saw birth rates go up in 2024 was women over 40. So geriatric is the word the medical system is still using for the most common version of motherhood happening right now. Save this video, share it with somebody else who might benefit, and don't forget to follow.
Okay, so that is what we're talking about today right here on Wellness Wednesday. Karibu sana to the show. How are you doing? I hope that you're well. I hope that you're keeping warm because the weather has decided where it's going to be chilly. But the conversation today right here on Your World, I think this is a conversation that I don't want to say personal, but also is personal for so many women out there. And this is as far as pregnancy is concerned, but not just pregnancy, but pregnancy after 35. And the term that we used to use is geriatric pregnancy. And I think I'm one of those people who are still in denial. Like, what do you mean geriatric? So geriatric is like 50 plus, 60 plus. No, it's after 35, okay? And now we're actually calling it advanced maternal age, or that is the term that is being used now, advanced maternal age, which again is referred to pregnancy, and this is after 35. So today on the show, like we've had a lot of the times, there's a lot of things that is being said as far as pregnancy and women, and now more women are focused on their careers and they're choosing, these are the things that pregnancy and motherhood, takes a back burner. But really, is that the case? Is that the case for so many women? So today we're really going to explore the realities, the myths, and the opportunities and the challenges associated with pregnancy beyond the age of 35. And we'll discuss fertility, maternal health, emotional well-being, family planning, and hear from, potentially the women who have experienced this. So if you are a woman who's watching us and probably you got your baby after the age of 35, your first child, say second born, I'm a third born, your first child after the age of 35, please let us know at NTV Kenya across the digital platforms, as well as our WhatsApp number, which will be down on your screen in just a second. But yes, the conversation today is on advanced maternal age, and we're looking at understanding pregnancy beyond the age of 35. And today the panel is full of men. And I know you might ask, so where are the women exactly? We are here. Sisi ndio women, and we are learning, okay, today. So today we take the stage and we just want to learn as women. Before I introduce my guest this morning, we have a question for you. And if we have the question ready, Philip, the question that we're asking you this morning is very simple. Do you believe that there is a perfect time to become a parent, or do we simply make the best of the season that we are in? So it's two parts to that question. The first part is, do you believe there is a perfect time to become a parent? Or the second part to that question is, do we simply make the best of the season that we are in? Like I said, at NTV Kenya, across all bodies, how you can reach us and help us really know where you sit, or where, what you think about the whole conversation on pregnancy after the age of 35. So my guests are already here. And like I said, this is a panel full of men who are experts in their fields, and they're here to help us. And I'm just going to start on my immediate right. And we have Dr. Kireki Omanwa, who is not a new face, okay, right here on Your World. He's been here before, but alipotea kidogo, but he is back. And Dr. Kireki is a consultant obstetrician gynecologist. He is also a fertility specialist and also the president of the Kenya Obstetrical and Gynecological Society. And of course, he will provide the expert medical insights on pregnancy and fertility beyond 35. Good to see you, Dr. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm tempted to say Happy New Year, but I saw you kitambo like in March, but it's so good to see you again. Karibu sana. And next to Dr. Kireki, we have Dr. Richard Saningo as well. Not a new face right here on Your World, and he is a naturopath, and he will help us really understand lifestyle, nutrition, and holistic wellness approaches that can support maternal health. Good to see you, Daktari. Thank you so much for making the time. The last time you were here was your birthday.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah.
I'm tempted to ask, how is the new year? How is everything unfolding?
Well, it feels a little. I feel a little older.
Okay. Okay.
But it's good.
It's good.
Thank God for another decade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So turning 60 was pretty good.
A big, it's a very, very big step.
Yeah.
I see that. All right. And of course, last but not least, we have Cleopa Njiru, who's a counseling psychologist and founder of Viva Mind Solutions Limited. And he will help us really understand emotional and psychological aspects of pregnancy later in life. Karibu sana, Cleopa. It's so good to see you as well.
Thank you. Nice
the
to
last
see
time
you.
you're here, you said, more people are embracing counseling and therapy, which is really good to hear. And I'm also curious to hear your insights as far as the conversation today, because it comes with a lot of things. The society, and the societal pressure, but also sometimes that internal pressure that, 35 imefika, akuna a little one who's running around and crying around. So it's really, really important to have you. But Dr. Kariuki, can we just first of all unpack geriatric? Because like I said, more like 3 or 4 women are in my inbox thinking, what do you mean geriatric? 35? Us, we're still children, we're still babies. Can we just first of all start with that, understanding geriatrics?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting me to the studio and also inviting my colleagues to the studio to talk about this very important topic.
Yeah.
Actually, this is one of the reasons, especially when we are talking about infertility, and I'm teaching about infertility to our students at the University of Nairobi and elsewhere.
Yeah.
When we look at the causes of infertility, among the top ones is age.
Okay.
And then they ask, why age? And then I talk to them, I say, look, by the time you come to university for your medical school, you're about 19 years, 18, 19 years. It takes 6 years to do your degree. So by the time you finish your undergraduate course, you're about 24, maybe 25 years. You need to do 1 year of internship. So you're about 25, 26 years.
Yeah.
Now, before you come back for your master's degree, you need to do at least 2 years of work out there. You gain some experience.
Yeah.
So hapo umefika around 28, 27, 28. In the course of your undergraduate studies, you may find a gentleman who has looked at you and thinks that you are the right person. So the young man could be, most of the time he's a classmate, so tries to hit on you, tries to talk, sweetly to you. But you look at his kiatu, nasema hii kiatu aki.
No.
So you actually don't go along with the vibe of this gentleman.
Yeah.
And they usually go to other places. They can go to nursing school, for example, the school of law. They get somebody there and they get married.
Yeah.
So by the time, most of the time, they are starting their internship or soon after, they're already married. So around 28 to 29. And there, if everything is okay, wanapata katoto ka kwanza.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you as a lady, you are thinking about how much your father has invested in you to go to medical school and so on. So by the time you come back now for masters, for a master's degree, you are around 30, 29, 30. The gentleman whom you didn't want to hear his vibe, you could not see his vision, he already has one baby.
Okay.
So medical school postgraduate takes about 4 years. So if you came in at 29 or 30, you're already around 33, 34. You finish at 34. The guys who were hitting on you at that time, they moved on. They went and got married, and they already have 1, maybe 2 children.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're focused on that, I must be a doctor, I must be, this, I must get to the top of, of the corporate ladder, as it were. So by the time you finish your postgraduate degree, and you need to work 2 more years before you become recognized as a consultant, you're around 35, 36,
Okay. All right.
37 maybe. You're already my client, a priori. And we don't want them to be our client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guys who now really wanted you have 2 children.
Yeah.
Maybe others even have 3. Meanwhile, now you start looking around. And I have examples of colleagues who are actually consultants.
Yeah.
They really tried, the focus was there. But then when they realized we want to have a family, it is too late. The good gentleman were not there.
gentleman.
So what I tell them is, look, don't look for the good one, Mr. Right. You may not find Mr. Right.
Okay.
Find Mr. Left and pull him to the right. It is possible.
Okay.
The other thing that they may think about is basically to maybe get their eggs and freeze them.
them,
And we can
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Now, when you think about geriatric
Aye, that
pregnancy,
term is scary.
it is scary because you're thinking about this old lady in a walking stick,
Yeah.
with trembling hands, with an hearing aid, Dianapata Mimba. Technically, it is possible. We can do that, but that is not the appropriate time to have that baby. There are so many things that have happened to your body, aging, and when aging starts, every part of the body ages.
I see.
The ovaries age, the skin starts sagging, and so on, and your hormone levels are not where they are supposed to be. So getting a baby at that age, over 35 plus, has a lot of health implications, not only on the patient, but also on that baby who's being carried.
Okay. We'll come back and unpack more on the same. But Dr. Saning, I want to hear from you as well. 35, okay?
No, who's my clients?
Yes, who is your client
The
at this
frustrated
point?
ones. They've gone to Daktari.
Yeah.
And, they've gone through the grind. They've achieved what they want, but they can't get a child that time.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the basics of the anatomy and physiology of the human body.
Okay.
20 years ago and today's people are very, very different. Why? The changes, first of all, groundwork. We are what we are. Yeah. What we eat is what we are. What you ingest becomes really what is internal. Yeah. Many years ago, people ate healthy.
Yeah.
The rat race was not as real as it is today. The stress levels were not as much. Pollution was not as much. And so pretty much your environment was healthy, and you ate healthy. And the food and the water and everything else around you is not as toxic as it is today. Today we have too many heavy metals, we have too many toxic chemicals flying around in manufacturing and all that. We're trying to make it easy for you to carry food inside the car and eat on the go, and I've talked about that so much here. Yeah. And your building blocks have become very unhealthy, and nobody's telling you about it. All you're chasing is that thing called career. You're chasing life, you're chasing success, forgetting that success is also supposed to be internal. It's supposed to be health-wise and lifestyle. Now, we start aging very quickly.
Okay.
People start looking 60 while you're actually 30, where it's supposed to be the other way around. You need to be looking 35 when you are 60. Yeah. Why? Because of what you are eating. And so therefore, when these young ladies, I would say young ladies, because you're 35, you still qualify for the youth fund.
Right? Yeah, I'm still youth.
Up to 39. Not geriatric. Still qualify for that funding. So what we do, and I've helped quite a number across the board. It could be military. I have a few military ladies who have sought my services at 45, 49 even, or high-end career, diplomacy, and consulting doctors and stuff. And we've got to go back to the basics and try and put you back on a very, very rich diet and change your lifestyle, your thought process. And I guess my colleague here will talk about the mental placement, such that you're able to reconstruct your chemistry.
Okay.
And so, therefore, as much as your ovules have been bombarded with all this, and you're already suffering from PCOS somewhat, you're already having issues with hormonal imbalances and the rest of it, you can now remanufacture, restructure.
Okay.
You bring in the different missing links into your
sort of like
anatomy.
a reset.
And then it happens. And once it does, we try and we try and tailor your lifestyle and make sure that you come back to that setting where the body is really ready for that.
Okay.
And not only for that, even for the younger women, when you know that you want to get pregnant, it's always easier and better to focus on what you're eating through at least 3-4 months before you conceive.
Okay.
That baby is going to be healthier than the one that is now going to be.
Lishtuka to found out 3 months later or 4 months later that you're pregnant. What's that to clear for Dr. Go on a break. So what you're saying is the age thing is real.
The thing is real.
The age thing is real.
I must confess, during my 30-some practice now in and out of this country, older women is a little more difficult to get pregnant, but it is possible to reverse that.
Okay.
If it's not a very serious permanent infertility situation.
Issue. Yeah. Okay, let's take a break, and then when we come back, we really then unpack that, the 35, and why is it such an important milestone for all the women to consider, because there's that thing called age is just but a number. Sometimes it is not. It is not just that number. There's so many realities that come with it, okay? And we're looking at pregnancy in this case today, right here on Your World. So the question that we're asking you today is pretty much simple, but, you know, it needs a little bit of honesty, okay? And we're asking you, do you believe there is ever a perfect time to become a parent? We've shortened it to become it easier for you, okay? So, do you believe there is ever a perfect time to become a parent is what we're asking you at NTV Kenya on our digital platforms, as well as our WhatsApp number is the way to reach us, okay? We'll come back, go through your feedback after the break, so do stay with us.
I'm 36 years old and pregnant. Why did my OB call me geriatric? It feels like a curse word. So we're not using that word anymore. We're going to say advanced maternal age. But knowing I'm considered advanced maternal age just makes it feel like there's something already wrong with me. What'd you say? I got you. Making it spicy. I'm working on it. I could not have been more prepared. Like, this feels like the ultimate time to have a kid. My husband and I are in a financially stable position where we can afford to have a kid and like raise the kid how we want. I always thought I wanted kids in my mid-20s. So if I actually did have kids in my mid-20s, it would have been a struggle. And look, I know people do it every day, so I'm not saying it's impossible by any means. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if I have a choice, and like if I got to cherry pick every little detail of my life, to be in a financially secure and stable position when I have kids is of course the ultimate wish. Second of all, I'm ready to sit my butt down. My days literally just look like me at home watching TV. Sometimes I'll sit outside on my porch drinking tea, and like that's it. A lot of my friends already have kids. I can get all the tips and tricks from them about what worked, what didn't work, what they did and wouldn't do again. With that being said, I also have a lot of patience. Like literally just to keep them alive, it requires a lot of your attention. It requires a lot of your time. I have that time to give now. I'm not still chasing a career. I'm not recovering from student loan debt. I'm not doing all the things that I would have been doing 10 years ago. My husband knows how important it is for me to be around family in general, how much we would need that support once our kids were here. So what did he do? He bought us a house that is in the same exact neighborhood as my parents. Like I literally can look out the window. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not going to show you guys. I don't want y'all to know where we live, but I'm looking out the window right now and I see my parents' house. We are going to need a village. It takes a village to raise children. I'm so close with my parents and all my siblings. There's 5 kids. All of us are so close and live within 20 minutes from each other and very much like present in each other's lives. So yes, we set it up so that whenever we need help and vice versa, if my family ever needs anything, we are right here. I would have never even thought of that in my mid-20s. I would have never even thought that I needed that. But like we've gotten to learn from the experience of other people how much the support can make or break, honestly, some people when it comes to having kids. There's a lot more, but I'm having a really hard time talking and eating. And right now, I really need to eat this while it's still hot or else I'm gonna be really sad about it. So I might have a part 2 later and I'm gonna go watch TV, Indian style on the floor. Bye.
They called all of my pregnancies geriatric because I wanted to start having babies at 35 years old. Now I'm 43 with 4 babies, but this is what nobody tells you when you are pregnant later in life. So you are more wiser, not weaker. You are going to take more tests, which means more waiting, and causes more fear. But you stop apologizing for how long it took, and you just feel everything more deeper and more intentionally. So you are not late. You are on your timeline.
You are on your timeline, and that is one of the things, the most commonest things that we have had actually women being told. But then again, on the flip side, there's also the reality. And like we have heard from the first part of the conversation before we went on a break, the age thing is very real. Okay, so for all the women out there who are thinking about settling down and having a family, age is such an important thing for you to consider. But then again, with age, there's also a lot of other things in our surroundings, in our environment, both external and internal, that might impact our lives one way or the other, that might delay, the process as far as getting pregnant. And we find ourselves beyond 35, and we do not want to use that term geriatrics because, like I keep saying, that term is very scary. So we're using advanced maternal age, okay? And this is pregnancy after the age of 35. And the question that we're asking you this morning is pretty much simple, needs a little bit of honesty as well. For the women who are watching us, please let us know. And even for the men as well, do you believe there is ever a perfect time to become a parent? Is there, a perfect time, or do you believe that there's ever a perfect time to become a parent? That is the question that we're asking you this morning. It's NTV Kenya across all board, but also use our WhatsApp number. But speaking about WhatsApp number, we have a question. So can we go through the question, and then we'll come to Cleopa to really understand the pressures and the stress and everything else, and how do we deal with it? The question of the day is, do you believe there is ever a perfect time to become a parent? But can we go through the question? So this one says, hi, I really like to get a baby. I have been married for 7 years, and I had surgery on one of my testicles was removed, and removed have come that I need to get, they want to get a baby. So the question is, they've tried with the gynecologist, but are still praying for help. Okay, gynecologist, about urologist. The urologist is the gyne for the men. We'll tackle that, because this is a question, I think, from the men, which is actually a good thing. We'll tackle that. But can we hear from you, Cleopa? Because, like we said, there's a lot of conversation around 35. First of all, even 30. But today the focus is on 35. There's a lot of other things that a woman would want to either prepare for or get ready for, and then 35 hits. So can we just talk about that in itself? The age, the big age, and then there's no little one running around and whatnot. Can we just talk about the stress and everything else that it can bring about?
Allow me to start with a small story about myself.
Okay.
Growing up as a small boy, my mother used to give me some firewood, some food to take to my great-grandmother.
Okay.
There was my grandfather, my grandmother, and great-grandmother.
Okay.
And every time as a Kikuyu culture, anytime I sent some firewood, she could do like this and bless me. And it was such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's only when I was old enough, I was informed. She was not our biological great-grandfather. She had no child, and the community had accepted her, and she lived with all of us, and we gave her all the respect.
Okay.
So that's my studying. I hope anyone can get what I'm about to say.
Yes.
Then, when I was mature, I did a course for 2 years of Billings ovulation method.
Okay.
That's why this subject, it has my heart.
It's very close to
Because at a young age, I was able to support couples who wanted to conceive and who sometimes could not conceive.
Yeah.
And there was so much that was going on. Now, as the founder and senior lead psychologist at Vivamite, the people who are coming to us now for therapy, they have tried everything else, but somehow finally they come to us when already they have been suffering silently.
Okay.
And now I want to come back to where we started, because there are reasons why someone will stay without a kid in the normal age that many people think that's when people should have kids, like between 21 to 29. That's what now they expect to have kids. But you'll find someone at 35, they made a choice, personal choice. that for me, I would want to do 1, 2, 3 with their own conscience. Others, because of circumstances, like infertility and all that. Others, because of the relationships, challenges we are having. So they are the people who are coming to us. And when they come to us, they are coming presenting, some with anxiety, depression, and all that. Because the society, instead of compassion, even in the way we are talking, we are judging. We are not supporting. The village, the parents, instead of trying to find out or even supporting their daughters, their sons, we are coming with judgment. But there is hope now because as psychologists, we are going deeper into what does science say. The first thing is whatever situation you find yourself in, for whatever reason, you are still human and you have a purpose and you have a meaning in life. It's only for you to change the way you think. So we were able to separate our emotions of sadness, anxiety, which is brought about by the expectations of the society. We will still live a good life. And going to my earlier story, life is not about whether you have a child or not. But culture, expectations of the people, pressures, they tell us. But the reality is that every person, every human being would be happy to be a mother, or for man to be a father. And so if that does not happen, then silently you are working as a corporate person, but inside when you go to bed, you are already feeling something. And then the pressure would come again when people, and allow me to say this, because sometimes in-laws, relatives, even the church, we want to go into the business that is not ours. We are going directly to start asking people, we are waiting for a baby. Why are you not? So you form a triangle, and instead of reducing the tension, you increase the tension. And that's why we are having so many cases of mental health issues in Kenya. There is a survey that was done another day that in every 4 people who go to see our doctors, 1 of them has got a mental illness, which is not diagnosed or treated. Some of the few reasons could be this one. And the best thing for you in inviting us is for people to start knowing the reality. Because at that age, 40 years ago, 1986, that's when I started understanding fertility. And that it doesn't sometimes depend with age. Like now, puberty. Many people would expect young boys and girls, all of us is like a watch. By the time we are 12 years, our body start, then the hormones start, then the production of sperms, but that's not the case. You'll find as early as 9, 10, slowly, we may not see anything, fertility has started. And some may wait up to 17, the rate matures. So we don't have that kind of biological clock for our human bodies. The way we are unique, some are big, some are short, that's the same thing even with our systems. So if that age of early fertility, no one can say, you start having your periods at the age of 13, 14, 15. You'll start at your own time, your unique time. And you are still a person. You are still a human being. You have an identity. You are worthy. The same thing also with after 30, if you have kept yourself well, you are eating well and all that, then even at 35, 40, there are some people who biologically they are still themselves. But then we have to also understand the reality, like Dr. is saying, there is that reality of we go through phases. But then at what point do you have a child? Let us allow people to make their choices. Let us not get into other people's business. And yourself also don't listen to those voices. Come to us so that we can help you challenge your beliefs. Because we are getting sadness, we are getting anxiety, depression, because of the beliefs that are inside us. Also not being able to separate our emotions versus our thoughts.
We'll come to that in a second. But you see that the reality is, and like I said, we've seen a lot of things happening online in terms of what we're told, and even what you're saying, which is important. Forget all the noise, okay? You focus on what is important to you as a person. But then again, there's also the reality of age is a thing. I am one of those people who are like, well, listen, age is not a thing. But that is the reality, right? And there's a lot of people who are struggling with understanding, first of all, what exactly does pregnancy look like? Like, let's forget everything else that we have had. Let's understand pregnancy at 35 and after 35. What exactly does it look like? Why is it such an important thing that even when we go to see a gynecologist, they're like, Sasa, you're special. We need to treat you in a certain way because you're delicate. Can we just understand the reality of pregnancy after 35?
I think, let me just add one or two things about what Cleofa has mentioned about the physiology of our bodies, and especially we're talking about ladies, the physiology of the female body. Yes, in the past, the short past, time past, ladies used to have their periods around 14, 15, 16. But we have seen that age, sort of coming down a little bit. Most of the time, when I talk to patients, the first question I ask them is, when was your first period?
Okay.
They say, I can't remember. Which class were you in? Usually it's about standard 7, standard 8, around 13, 14, 15. However, we still see a few of them who start their periods maybe around 10, 11 years, rarely do we see 9. But they are still there. What Daktari here had mentioned about nutrition is very important.
It's important,
We are eating foods which are modulators of what we call estrogens. So you find that what you call the HPO axis starts working a little bit earlier than before. So you find the children who are 11 years, but they've started sprouting breasts, who are 13 years, and so on. And then again, culturally, there are some cultures that as soon as breasts have started sprouting, you've had your first period, you're supposed to be getting married. So actually, that is not okay. Now, you're asking about pregnancy. What actually happens in pregnancy when in a 35-year plus a lady? Remember that in order for a woman to get pregnant, she must have a period. She must have a cycle. I will say that with a caveat because we are also treating ladies who are more than 40 who have no periods, but we still, through IVF, we still help them to get pregnant. But by and large, you must have a period. Why must you have a period? Because that period, when you have that period, day 1 or day 2, it means that you're starting a new cycle. And it's a very intricate pattern because the brain, there's a certain center in the brain called the pituitary gland, which sends messages to the ovaries and tells them, get ready, start, stimulating the dormant eggs such that, just like the Bible says, many are called, but few are what? Few are chosen. So many follicles are woken up, as it were, and out of those follicles, you may find, a follicle is what carries an egg, so you'll find maybe 2 or 3 are the ones which will continue growing, but ultimately, it's only one, what you call the dominant follicle, which will have an egg in it, is the one which will continue growing. As it is growing, it will be releasing a hormone called estradiol. Estradiol works on the lining of the womb, so making it ready, accumulating glucose and other stuff which the embryo, which is the beginning of a baby, is actually going to use once it has implanted. Now, ovulation time occurs at around day 9, day 11, 12 of the cycle, depending on the length of the cycle. Once ovulation has occurred, the egg is released, and that egg is picked up by the tube. And if you can say that my hand is a tube, and at the end here we have what we call fimbriae, which are finger-like projections. They pick that egg and push it into the tube, where it is supposed to meet with the sperms. Now, during intercourse, a large number of sperms, if the man is okay, because again, that is also another issue
That's a
altogether.
thing,
That's another issue altogether. if the man is okay, he releases a huge amount of sperms. Let's work with 100 million.
Okay.
So he releases 100 million. And by the way, that ejaculate is less than half a teaspoonful. All that work for half a teaspoonful of whatever. But be it as it may, those 100 million sperms which are released, they swim through the cervix, and the cervix is the opening of the womb, what connects the womb, the vagina and the womb. They swim through the cervix, they swim through into the womb, and they're actually directed. This month, munaenda pande musiende, because they can go and they say, now where do we go? But nature is very intricate and knows exactly which side they're going to. So they swim, and ideally they swim around the egg, and one of them drills a small hole, gets inside, and that's it. The winner. So fertilization occurs. Now, once fertilization occurs, the process from fertilization, where the egg was fertilized, until it gets to the lining of the womb, which is ready, takes about 5 days.
Okay.
As that embryo, because that embryo now, the beginning of the baby, is traveling to the womb, it is dividing. Now, every cell of that embryo has exactly the same material, DNA material. Now, as it is dividing, those cells are being, not really channeled, but there's a decision. You will be the eyes, you will be the legs, and as it's saying you will be the eyes, it says which partner. Will it be macho ya baba ama macho ya mama?
Okay.
Mikono itakuwa ni ya baba ama itakuwa ni ya mama? All this information is actually happening at that time. And then it implants into the womb and the baby starts growing. Now, what happens when we are older, 35 years or older? Remember, we started our periods. This young lady, they are all young. Ladies are all young.
Yes, yes, very young.
She starts her periods at around 13 years. And every month that she has a cycle, she loses some eggs, a certain number of eggs. Remember, they come equipped, self-contained for the whole of their lives. By the time they start their periods, it is approximated that they have about 400 to 500,000 eggs. And every month from the 13th year when she started her periods, she's now 35. So these are 22 years of losing eggs every month, which have not been made use of. Now, the store of eggs, what you call the ovarian reserve, at 35 has reduced. And remember, we are aging. Like my colleague here said, as we are aging, even the eggs and the genetic material, which is the DNA, is also aging. What does that mean? Number one, the number of eggs has reduced. Number two, the genetic material is aging. And as it's aging, it actually gets denatured or destroyed in a way. It's micro fragments, but it will have an effect later on. Now, remember, if a lady between 20 and 30 years of age, when they get pregnant, we see, unfortunately, a lot of miscarriages. Around 20 to 30 years of age, the miscarriage rate is about 9%. 35, imefika 20%, so it has increased. When we get to 40, the miscarriage rate is over 40%. When you get to 45 and above, then it is also a lot higher. It even gets more difficult at 45 years, trying to get pregnant using your own eggs for the first time is less than 1%. Geriatric medicine, good medicine. See medicine, but pregnancy. Now, apart from the miscarriages that are higher with age, there are other issues which come along. The prematurity rates are also higher. The stillbirth rates are also higher. Preeclampsia, whereby the blood pressure increases after around the second trimester, is also a lot higher. In the extremes of ages, that one, the young lady of 35 and above, and then the extremely young ladies about 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
Where, unfortunately, in Kenya, we have about 240, 250,000 teenagers getting pregnant in that age. They have no business actually getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Now, apart from that, gestational diabetes is also a lot higher in these ladies. Now, what do we do? In one of the clips, they said, you know, my OBGYN said we need to have a closer look at these pregnancies. It is true, we need to have a closer look.
Yeah.
Ideally, what we should do, because you remember about the aging of the DNA material? Now, the embryos that are created with that, you know, those oldish eggs, as it were, these ladies tend to have babies with a lot of chromosomal problems. Down syndrome increases, and other syndromes also increase.
Okay.
So what we can do for them,
we can actually... I can do. Hey, turn the break, and then we come back. Would also want to understand, because Dr. Sandingo, you talked about the changes that happen, which is very real, but also the environmental factors and also our lifestyle. So is there a way that we can prepare the body then for pregnancy, you know, after 35? Let's hear what you guys have to say on our WhatsApp number, as well as the digital platforms. But the WhatsApp number is quite ready. So this one says, hello NTV, this is Kinoti Friday from Tarakaniti. Says, there's really no universal perfect age to have children, but I believe having them earlier in adulthood has advantages. You have more energy to raise them, support their education, and help them become independent while you're still active and productive. By the time you're in your 50s and 60s, your children are likely to be self-reliant adults, reducing the financial and parenting pressures that come with raising young children later in life. Okay. This one says, I'm enjoying the show. Very good and well-informing topic. And then do we have another one? This one says, hello, Doc. I have been using 3 months Depo for family planning, and I also stopped using it in November. I'm receiving my period, but I have not conceived. What might be the problem? Okay, let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll answer more of your questions, look at your concerns as well. So there's so much to come on the other side. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Glad you're still with us. As we're panicking here, thinking, who is messing with the time? Because time flies, and there's so much that we need to cover on the conversation today on advanced maternal age, and we're looking at understanding pregnancy beyond the age of 35. So we've looked at the different factors that, again, might lead to a woman getting to 35 plus and not have a child. We've looked at the reality of what pregnancy at 35 looks like and the risks that come with it. But Dr. Sandingo, is there a way that then, say someone who is 35 plus, okay, and they're listening to us and they're panicking, okay?
Well, let's not panic.
Let's not panic.
Yeah.
Okay.
What my colleague had described earlier is on a perfect environment where you're a healthy person.
Yes.
Let's not forget that there are so many indicators, so many other factors that affect pregnancy or the ability to conceive at that particular time. I like to see what you're playing, you know, the ladies in the Western world talking about this and eating a salad and the rest of it.
Yeah.
But in our environment, things are really in a different direction.
Yeah.
Scores and scores of people don't have a balanced diet.
It's true.
Scores and scores of people are already bombarded with a lot of inflammation. People are inflamed. People have had STIs. You've messed up your body severally without knowing that it will affect your ability to conceive. People are not eating as healthy as they should. And sometimes out of ignorance, you may not necessarily think of making an effort to have more of healthy foods, and you are subjected to denatured foods within your environment, because then you cannot get the proper food that you require to put in the right building blocks for your body.
Okay.
Let us not forget that that age group where you're required to have babies or conceive at that time, there's so many other factors that are affecting you. School is one.
Yes.
Our schooling system. And it is a shame to get a baby before you finish your school as a lady. It's not like a man who is impregnating. So the stigma part of it.
Is there?
Let us not forget that people are stigmatized. There's so much trauma also. There's a lot of trauma within the school setting, within the cultural setting, family pressure. Shosho is saying, I'm about to die before I see your children and stuff.
Yeah.
And trauma also affects you psychologically, hence it cascades into hormonally. Don't forget that the young people also are getting into the business of intercourse earlier than before because of cultural exposure.
Yeah.
There are no many breaks are not there. During our time, there were so many breaks. Don't do this, don't do this, you can't do it. So your conscience will takes you on a straight path whereby you're not taking tangents in any way. Now, young people are testing and sampling everything and everywhere. And so therefore you start taking self-prescribed over-the-counter drugs to be able to overcome this. Hence, here you're doing what? You are also affecting the chemistry of your body. You're putting in toxins that are embedded in your tissues that influence your health, such that you become slowly infertile. Don't forget that young ladies are also in the business of beauty. Most of the things that you are applying in your hair, in your eyelashes, in your on your lips and lotions, they have hormone blockers. And these hormone blockers are real, and they continue to be embedded in your tissues, and they affect your DNA. And so all these factors may not necessarily, your infertility may not even be about time, about story of getting late, it's you've taken too much time in school. It is what you've been doing on a daily basis, every day. You're going to the salon, you're putting in all these chemicals without knowing, in the name of beauty, to please Mr. Right to come in. And when Mr. Right comes in, he is also having issues because he had also been eating this and this, left, right, and center, testing one substance here and there, and you are abusing your body, and your sperm is unhealthy. And by the time you're coming to meet and you've decided, oh, we're going to honor our parents and now you're going to have children, your sperms are club-like. Ni kama rungu. It's not kama mshale. So you have oligospermia. So you're also infertile without knowing. But your argument is, lakini sinilitia msichana mimba tukiwa primo. So even now, mi niko sawa. Kumbe,
something happened in between.
There's something has been evolving here. So the environment is not just conducive.
Maybe it was so many times. Maybe it was not.
Oh, maybe it was not you.
You know? So I think there are so many other factors that are affecting us. And now when it comes to people who are seriously thinking about their future, we need to bring in all these factors. Eat well, sleep well, mental health, like my friend was talking about, the public. Think about the sensitivity of what you keep telling people in church or in whatever gatherings. Haya, bado mjapata watoto, kwani hii mayai inapotea ni ya nini? You don't know how you're affecting somebody. You're traumatizing. So all these factors are very important for consideration. And therefore, as young ladies are approaching the upper kind of the 30s, think about healthful living. Healthful living, your mental health, your relationship with your creator. What are you comfortable with spiritually? Your spiritual, emotional health, how is it? Because they all play a part to the general health.
And you know, majority of the times, Cleopa, when we're thinking about even just the pregnancy in itself and the thought of getting pregnant and becoming a mother, we what's the term? We idolize it, you know, and we even hear a lot of women say, I'll get pregnant with just anyone and raise the baby by myself. Like, we think that journey it's gonna be roses throughout and baby bump and whatnot. But we also talked about the mental health and where you are at as a person, and that in turn will even affect the process of getting pregnant, in the first place.
And
So
in fact, there are more people now using contraceptives heavily and continuously. And by the time they're coming to start wanting to get pregnant, things are bad.
That things are bad.
By the time you're stopping, you already messed up your genitourinary system, your hormone balance, your endocrine system is already messed up, such that you first have to sort out the whole of the endocrine system in order for you to even start thinking about conception.
Maybe a comment about contraception.
Can I hear him just for a second? Just
yeah.
on the mental health, and then we'll come to that, because that's actually the reality.
And I'll start with, back then, I am not going to enter into the specific, but something small, and I know people now can be able to get this information, because we have the information. Like you can download the app of Billings Ovulation Method. And something small which hit me that time was, we were to help couples, they identify the actual day of ovulation, because when you are anxious, when you panic, there is a way you can affect the health of the sperm. And so some people are not getting pregnant, not because they can't get, but because of their mental health. And that's where now we need to start, that they need help from us as they also look at it. It's not only a medical issue, it's a psychological issue. Because people need to get help so that they relax, they become calm, and that way now, the day of ovulation, the healthy sperm and an healthy offer can now bring about life
without
and
stress.
make a baby.
Without stress. Like
So
give
you
them a
see- you see the
conducive
connection.
environment.
I want us to realize the connection between mental health, when mental health and physiological health, because the two are all connected. But now I want to narrow down now to mental health. We have 3 or 4 types of people we are talking about. And these are not statistics. These are human persons reasoning to us. A daughter of someone, a wife of someone, someone who everybody is looking upon, and she is in a need. So the first group are women who are struggling with 2 issues. The first is they are not in an ideal marriage situation. They are still having the relationship. A man comes, there's a breakup. They are struggling with the loss and grief because of they have not yet entered into what the society is expecting to be in a marriage situation. And apart from that, they are also now struggling with the fertility issue because they are asking, I don't have a child. They have not even gotten into marriage. So they even don't know whether they can get a child or not. So you can get into the mind of that person. She's already in a turmoil because I have not had maybe someone in my life. I've stayed like this, but at the same time, I don't have someone in my life. So those people, the society now, the way we talk, we traumatize them. And they go through sadness, anxiety. They are not sleeping. They are not eating. Because quietly, they are suffering with those thoughts. That's one category of someone struggling with the 2 things. And this is a person we are talking to now. When will I have a man? When we have a family, at the same time, will I be able to conceive? Will I get a baby? Sometimes they have tried, but they're also not conceiving. So again, there is the fertility issue, and there is the stigma from the society. You don't have already someone. Everybody, from their age mate to their family, everybody is asking that. That's one. The second is, these people, we have had a wedding. We have already gone through the whole process. The dowry, everything. And then the expectation is immediately we come and declare you a husband and a wife. In the next 2 months, a child.
We need to see something.
Now the child is not coming.
And Pastor wishes
One, and even the blessing. 1 year, 2 years. Now, what does the husband tell the lady? It is your fault. It is you. But he is not also looking at himself. Then the lady is saying, it's not my fault. I had to go through the whole process. And then the husband tells her again, you are useless now. And you know, some of those things are being thrown carelessly. And then again, The husband comes to himself. He does not want to talk about her, about this specific need, which is very human.
Okay.
So you can see what marriages are going through today because of this issue. So what do we need to do? We need now help. All of us work together, the society, everybody to start understanding how can we be empathic. Empathic is let us try to understand. Even as we talk about these issues, let us start to ask ourselves, what is happening to this person who is a human being, who has got an identity, a dignity? What is going on in her life? And if she feels like she's not coping because of those pressures, then she needs to approach someone who can now talk in confidence, someone who is not judgmental, someone who can be able to take them through the process so that we know, do you go now to approach the medical side so that we confirm what can happen? Do you also help yourself with your mental issues so that the two of you now can start building a relationship of friendship where you can share the dreams, where you can go towards each other, even when you are going through what you are going through. Now, the other side is parents.
All right.
The parents who are listening to us, because they will not go to ask their daughter, especially men. For women, they call their daughters aside. They call their son aside. But men are also suffering. Because men are saying, we have done everything for our daughter, for our son. Where is the child? And they cannot go to ask now. So even parents, they go through their own issues. So they need also to come into terms with, there is a lot of things that is surrounding fertility. And then at the end of the day, your life does not really, it's not dictated by whether you have a child or not. You will still find meaning and purpose through service, through doing well to other people, so that you can now start enjoying life and enjoying what you are doing.
We'll come to actually support, because what you're saying is very important. Support is, instead of pointing fingers and say, what are you doing, what are you not doing, where you're infertile and whatnot, it comes from a family. What can we do to support them? Because like we said, the mental connection and the physical connection is, there's no two way about it. But Dr. Kireki, then, so we looked at the risks for the pregnancy or the child, but are there risks to the woman, or are there benefits?
Are there benefits? Let me start with the benefits. I think when you look at the clips, when you start at 35, maybe 40, you are sort of settled in life. You know exactly what you want. You want to spend more time with this baby. So motherhood is more of a journey which you want to take and on a conscious, a decision which you made consciously, and you want to actually be there 100%. Unlike if you get these young ladies get pregnant at 14, 15, it's oops, something happened, and all these other things from society, come in. You don't have an education, you don't have any skills, you don't have a job, and and so on and so forth. But later on in life, it is a conscious decision that you've made. And then apart from that, you have also decided that even if I don't get Mr. Right, I'll still want to take care of this baby myself. So you are more involved, as it were. You have reached, the highest level of your professionalism, as it were. So financially you are stable, and so on. You are more enlightened. You have more information, which is a good thing. But when it comes now again to the pregnancy, the risks, the things that I explained, maybe even before we go there, we can also ask about the causes. Why are we waiting so late? You may have irregular periods, for example, because of hormonal imbalance, not necessarily because of taking contraception, but something which I have to underline is that something which actually does disrupt what you call the HPO axis is the P2. The emergency pill. The emergency pill, you can't have an emergency every 2 days. Every weekend you are going out.
We're actually
it's an
abusing
emergency.
it. Yeah.
Now that overuse is actually a problem.
Yeah.
There is a contraception which is called Chinese. It's one tablet.
Okay.
We have no idea what is in that one tablet, and it is sold discreetly, you know, and so on.
It's readily available.
Readily available, and unfortunately, it messes with ladies' cycles.
Yeah.
And remember, we said right at the beginning that without a cycle, it's very difficult for you to get pregnant. There are also other causes why it's taking so long. There is, you know, the tubes, blocked tubes, for example. You didn't know that these tubes are blocked. You've done everything, you know, as you've reached that age. You've gone through what Clover has said. You've gone through all the process of marriage and whatever, and there is no baby. So when we do the normal workup for infertility, we find, excuse me, but your tubes are blocked because of an infection, for example. You may have fibroids as well, you know, which is a big problem amongst ladies, especially in that age when they're supposed to get pregnant. So these causes. We are talking about ladies. We haven't talked about gentlemen.
The men. I think we need like a separate conversation on the men, right?
We need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So the causes of waiting may not necessarily be that you don't have the right man, or you haven't, you know,
or you're focused in school and career and whatnot.
It could be that the right man is there, but there are other medical issues which are actually stopping you from getting that baby early enough. And then when you get it later on, then there are all these challenges which can come up, you know.
I say that. And Dr. Saningo, so we have like 2 minutes to go on a break, so I don't know whether you'll be able to talk in 2 minutes. But the question on hormonal imbalance, which we handled two shows on the same, but you mentioned PCOS, cases of endometriosis and whatnot, which one would also want to link that to lifestyle plus so many other issues. So in this age, 30s, 35, because we see a lot of women in that age, are there things that probably they can do to either reverse or manage to at least make it easier for them to get pregnant?
Can I suggest something before we go on?
Okay.
The PCOS was changed.
Yes,
It's no
to
longer
PMOS.
PCOS,
To PMOS. Yes.
Definitely,
Yes.
yes. Let's appreciate the fact that in today's age, a lot of people are going through deficiencies. Why? Because again of imbalances on the diet. It's not a balanced diet. And so just even the simple little vitamin that is called B9, you know, or B12, which are key to conceiving. There are antioxidants that you need to pump into your body by what you eat. Supplementation is there. A lot of people go for supplementation, but don't forget that we are in a very crazy world where there are so many manufacturers that are not observing the normal situation. So people take supplements thinking they're taking a B12 or zinc or whatever it is, the missing links that you have, and you're not taking genuine stuff. And so it is real that people have deficiencies, and deficiencies can come as a result of also what we are abusing. There are foods that we take that leach out the good things. There are foods that we take that have a lot of toxic overload. Okay? Unlike the years before. So as a naturopath, it's always good to look at holistically, all around. It's not just the anatomy and physiology. It's not just the diet. It's not just the mindset. Even your environment. What are you doing? How much are you sleeping? How much water do you take? Are you permanently dehydrated? Are you taking too much alcohol that is sapping away all the water from your cells and stuff like that? Are you ingesting quite a bit of other chemicals through your skin and other forms of inhaling? What are you inhaling? Are you living in an environment that is giving you good health, or are you having all this mold and stuff that is entering into your body? And it changes your physiology. It changes your anatomy. And therefore, when you're constantly fighting inflammation And then obviously you're going to hospital because you have this and that, and then antibiotics are put in there, a lot of over-the-counter drugs, self-medication. There's also Dr. Google,
Yes.
you know, and you key in your symptoms, and then Dr. Google says, and you don't know what websites, whether they are true, authentic, expert advice. And then you go buy these things, and they are readily available, generic stuff, not genuine stuff. And you continue to pump into your body all these toxic substances that end up messing your
The
system.
entire system. Tushikilie hapo. Go through feedback and then we'll come back and say. So then are there ways that we can reset everything? Is there hope? And I was telling you, someone
There is
was in
hope.
my inbox
There is
saying, hey, Cesar, there's no hope for us, but
There
you
is a
said
lot
there's
of
hope.
hope.
All right, let's go through some of your feedback, on WhatsApp and also your questions, and then I think we'll answer them after the break. So this one says, hello, NTV. In my humble opinion, I feel like there is no perfect time for becoming a parent. I planned my first child at the age of 28, but basically I was not ready. It was just society pressure. And my second and third childs are oops babies. For the second child, I was okay since I wanted 2 kids in my life. Family planning failed, and I got the third child while at 36. This one really put me down. Baby is 4 months now, but it's not easy mentally for me. I'm now scared of what next. To a point, I am scared of intimacy. Thank you. I think, Cleopa, we can handle this, the mental aspect. Then this one says, hello, what causes severe vomiting in early pregnancy, and how can it be addressed? When is it advisable to see a doctor? And this is Pamela who's asking that question. Then this one says, hello NTV, I am 30 years old and I have had 2 miscarriages caused by cervical incompetence. It is now 4 months since I had the second miscarriage, but there is no conception yet. I am stressed because of this. Why am I not conceiving? Kindly help, and what can I do to conceive? My menstrual cycle has resumed, but still no conception. Okay. And then this one says, hello, I delivered through CS with twins almost turning 6 months. I'm breastfeeding exclusively and I have not seen my periods. Will I get pregnant after the 6 months? And then this one says, hello, good morning. I'm enjoying the show. I'm not using any contraceptive methods, but I'm not able to conceive, please. This worries me a lot. I have 1 child and he is now 8 years old and I have not conceived again. What could be the problem? And then this one says, does having a child reduce painful menstrual cycle? Because I'm always being told to think of having a child and the pain might reduce, and yet I'm 24 and still focused on my career. We've had this. I think all of us women have had this. This one says, yes, the society should be kind to us. I am 41. I have never been married, no child, never been pregnant, never tried to be pregnant. So I don't even know my fertility status. I always hope to do everything. Meanwhile, hata bado sina mtu jameni. And I think this is a case for so many women. So problem will come and start with that. And at what point then do we check our fertility status? And this is after 35. So many questions. We'll answer them after the break, but keep sending it our way, okay? We'll see you right after. Welcome back. Very few minutes before we say goodbye on Wellness Wednesday, and the conversation today is on advanced maternal age, previously called geriatric pregnancy. And we're looking at the realities, the risks, the benefits that are around the same. But we're also saying, so someone is like 35 now, 35 plus, and they're like, okay, I'd want to have a child. And what you guys are saying is there are more risks than benefits. So is there hope for me? Not to worry, because that is what we're about to tackle. But can we answer the questions? Who feels like going first? Because I know we coupled them together. Yeah. Let's answer them very quickly.
Maybe I'll start by just explaining about someone who is ready to have a child.
Okay.
They are married or not married, but they want to have a child. And they have started the journey of wanting to conceive, but they cannot conceive. That is a loss.
Okay.
We always look at loss and grief, like only in death or loss of a job. Yeah. But when you lose that ability, it has been confirmed or not confirmed, but you are trying, you can't conceive. So that one by itself need help, so that we take you through the process of grief. We know, are you sad? Are you helpless, hopeless, depressed? Are you in denial? All those things, we need to work the person through the journey.
Okay.
The second loss, which many people need to be aware of, and that's why I say I respect what our doctor told us, is miscarriages. because every time you lose a baby, for a woman, it's not just a miscarriage. It is a child, a baby, who has already started connecting, bonding with her in the womb. So any miscarriage that happens, it's a special, and we need to be helped. The society first to understand that, and then the person may need to go for therapy to be able to be helped through the journey of loss and grief.
Okay.
And then also we can come up with even mourning with them, because that is it. Then there is all these other things that we know we expect, like the cycle. This is how it's supposed to be. So you have an irregular cycle, you have painful periods, you have attempted to conceive, you can't. All those things, they affect the person and they affect the emotion. Such that even when someone can naturally conceive, because of the emotions that they are going through, like from this miscarriage to this miscarriage, if you have not helped your brain, you know that is the thinking and the emotions.
Yeah.
So the decisions you make and even your body. So we need to help people so that they can separate the emotions, and then they think, what can we do?
Okay.
Do we need to go and see experts? And I have walked journeys with women who we have journeyed with them for a long period, and we work closely with our experts. And when we work as a team, we help in the mental health.
Okay.
Then our medical, they do the assessment, the test. So when we get there, even like the one who was saying is at 41, if we work together, our expert in medical field, expert in mental health, we can help you to balance so that your body responds and you can be able to conceive.
I see that. Thank you so much, Cleopa. All right. Those irregular periods, those contraceptive, there was, what else? I think on diet as well, because they talk about... Yes.
Yeah,
can we just couple them together?
Right. How do we deal with deficiencies? First of all, identify what are you deficient of. Thank God you can do tests. You can find out what is... You see, once you've already understood or you have a hunch that you are not able to conceive, you'd come, we run tests, find out what is the cause. Is it fibroids? Is it blocked tubes? Is it various inconsistencies? Yeah? So once we look at your sex hormones, your endocrine system, your functions, the thyroid, there's so many tests that you can pinpoint. And once you already ascertain that, then we put in the missing links. What is there? If it is the fibroids, then what solution do you have? We tackle that. If it's blocked tubes and you don't have a good spill, what do you do about that? So it's basically important to understand where are you at and what is the cause of your infertility. Now, when it comes to trauma, because in my practice, it's very important to understand what is around you. What are the factors are generated through psychogenesis? Is there trauma? Is there things you're dealing with? Are there inconsistencies here and there? Then we tackle that as well. So solutions are not necessarily just medicine. If you have situations where you've been taking a lot of HRTs, for example, or you know, contraceptives for a very long time, and they've messed up your system, then what do we do about that? Either you go through situations where you try and detox the body, you remove all this, you embark on pumping in more antioxidants into the body to grab the free radicals that are causing all this trouble. And so therefore then it can be able to bring hope back to the person. Or what time, how long does it take? It takes time. You see, like, for example, the the lifespan of a blood cell is 120 days, which is 4 months. And so all these chronic conditions, and if we took this to be a chronic situation, you've got to go through various cycles in trying to remove all these embedded toxins in your body and trying to make systems come back to at least normality, so that you do not just conceive, but you can carry it to term. Because that's another thing. We can even do the physical one, and you have it, and then it doesn't work because the environment is not conducive enough. Are you able to carry it to term? And so therefore, all these factors must be looked at. And we've not even talked about the man's side, because
We'll
there's no
actually
time.
talk about the man's side. I think because, like I said, clearly this needs a continuation of part 2, and then we bring in the man, and now we approach it holistically. Today we started with the women at 35, but there was also the question on, I think they'll put on contraception and then they stopped, but they've not conceived or they've not seen their periods, and then there was another one of painful periods, and they were told get a baby, and then and then the gentleman who I think sent in the first question. Yes, can we?
So I'll start with the 41-year-old.
Yeah.
Of course, we can do tests for her to know exactly where she is in terms of her fertility, her hormone levels. We can check what you call AMH, anti-Mullerian hormone, which will give us an idea about her ovarian reserve. We can check her TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, very important hormone because it's like a manager of other hormones in the body. We can check her tubes to see whether they are okay. I think Dr. Ria mentioned something about spillage in the tubes and so on. So we can actually ascertain that. And then she said, "Ata mimi sina mtu jamani." So let's go to the bank and look for mutu. So, unfortunately, we can't get some mutu for her. But having said that, we can actually she can actually do donor sperm, and she can get pregnant. Of course, emotionally she's balanced. She can get a baby. There was the very fast. Let me start with the very first question about Depo, and her periods were all over the place. Depo-Provera is a method of contraception which can be given. It's injectable. You can do it once a month or even up to 3 months, and usually it does very well. It's cheap, it's easily accessible, but it has its downsides as well. And the downsides are that most of these women complain of intermenstrual, bleeding or spotting, and sometimes they complain of low libido. So most of them will leave it because of that, but there are others who are very comfortable with it. The gentleman who had one testicle removed and they've been trying to have a baby, God created us. There are some organs which are in pairs, and I think he knew that Imoja kikatika is like a plane's engines. Imoja kikatika, we can still cruise with the other one. Just like even with ladies, if we remove one ovary because of a disease, the other one we can still function with that. So the most important thing for this gentleman is to have a sperm test. We know where we are in terms of sperm quality, and then we can help him. There's a lady who was, I think, 24 years with painful periods, and has been told that she needs to get pregnant, and that will happen, and so on. I suspect that most probably is because of endometriosis. In the past, it has been that get pregnant and then the pains will disappear. And the rationale behind it is that once a lady gets pregnant, the normal cycle is actually stopped for the next 9 to 10 months. And endometriosis is basically a situation whereby you have that lining. You remember we talked about the lining, which is embedded outside the uterus, and then it works as if it is part of the lining in the womb. Now, if there is a pregnancy there, the ovaries will not be producing estrogen, which feed on the endometriosis, which can actually cause the pain. And we know that it is an inflammatory disease that we've talked about here in the past. The lady with the 2 miscarriages, and saying she has a weakness with the cervix. Very unfortunate. She's trying to have a baby. I'm sure she will, and we pray for her that she does get pregnant. Then what we can do, we can actually put a stitch. We can suture the cervix such that it doesn't open later on. And there are different types of sutures which we can use. There's another one who had delivered twins, and she's breastfeeding for the last 6 months. She doesn't have periods. Will she ever get her periods? Yes, she will get her periods, because regular breastfeeding actually works as a contraception in a way, because it blocks the pituitary gland from working normally, and there'll be no release of hormones. So that is why that is why she has no periods, but she will have periods. I think we've answered all of them.
Most of them, yes.
Yeah.
There's also the other one who, the 3 kids, is it the first one was not ready? The other
Oh,
two
yes.
were oops babies, and now she's
Oops, babies.
scared
Now
of even
she's,
intimacy.
over 36, and she
Yeah.
got the last one.
Yeah.
Mentally, she's not.
Yeah.
I think the best thing for her would be to consider contraception, and there are various methods of contraception which can help her, which are very comfortable and not even very expensive, and that is something which she can easily consider, and this will help her. For example, if she can't take tablets for whatever reason, we can insert what is called a Mirena coil, which is very, very effective, 99% percent effectiveness, and it will help her, and it will give her that emotional comfort and mental comfort that I will not get a baby, because it works in 2 ways. It releases a hormone which works on the lining of the womb, such that that lining will always be thin. And remember, if the lining is thin, possibility of getting a baby is not there.
also,
And then it's also mechanical. So there are 2 ways. I think that would work very well for her, and such that she doesn't have this mental pressure that I may get pregnant, so I don't want to be intimate just in case I get pregnant.
I say that. There are 2 other questions here.
Yes.
So this one says, hi, I got married last year na nimekuwa nikitafuta mtoi tangu last year August, so nikaenda hospitali nikaambiwa niko na hormonal imbalance, nikapewa pills za miezi 2 na bado sija conceive. Naweza tumia nini ndio nipate mimba? Huu mwaka I am turning 26 years old. And then there's also this one that says, good morning, I'm asking, do you still need the Rhesus medicine if you terminated a pregnancy many years ago with a man who was O positive and your blood is A negative, or the risk reduced more years, the more years the pass, the risk has reduced?
Okay. I'll start with that one of Rhesus.
The Rhesus, yes. And then I think, Dr.
Rhesus.
Saningo, you can do
Rhesus
the...
negative.
Yes.
Rhesus negative. Rhesus negative is basically where your blood group does not have a factor which is called Rhesus, which is found in what you call a Rhesus monkey. Now, what happens is that in pregnancy, if you get a lady who's negative and a gentleman who is positive, and if the baby that the lady is carries the blood group of the father, which is positive, what will happen is that her immune system will recognize that baby as an enemy and will attack it. So what we know, that is why this is very important right at the beginning for ladies, or for couples for that matter. When they come, one of the first things that we do is we want to know your blood group, and we want to know the blood group of your husband.
Partner,
If it is positive and negative, she's negative, he is positive, then there are some tests which we can do, preliminary tests right at the beginning, what we call indirect Coombs test, to see whether there is a reaction. And we follow up these tests later on.
Okay.
Now, if she had a pregnancy of many years ago, we will wait for her to get pregnant. Once she has got pregnant is when we'll see. Normally, we give them an injection, what you call anti-D, and usually it's around between 28 and 30 weeks. And then soon after delivery, we also do a blood test from the cord of the baby to see whether there is a problem. If there's a problem, we also give an injection. But by and large, there is that screening, and there is that giving of the injection, at 30 weeks.
I see that. The other one was on hormonal imbalance. I think, Dr. Saningo, we can bring you here, because she was given medication and up until now she's not conceived, and how she wants to conceive this year. So she's asking, are there other things that she can do? She's 26.
No, she's not told us whether Mr. Right is okay. Let's start there. That could be a drawback. Number 2, yes, she could have had a hormonal imbalance that can be fixed, and it's not just a one thing that you take and then it balances all your hormones. It's a whole, system of bringing back the balances, because the endocrine system is It's an intricate system. But lifestyle also disrupts because whatever you have embedded in your tissues or in your anatomy can cause problems. So yes, it is possible to bring back the balances depending on a consultation. Get to the bottom of it, because in naturopathy we believe in knowing the cause. So you don't just do it blindly. You've got to find out exactly what is the cause. And like I said, it could be either way. It could be even the partner. It could be how she is having the imbalance. And so therefore all that is something that can be done. So there is hope for her.
There's hope.
And again, she's young.
So
there's
definitely
there's no cause for
there's no cause for alarm. There's hope. And Cleopa, I'm sure you, based on the questions that have been asked, there's this pressure and anxiety as far as conceiving. When will my periods come back? When, will I have another like there's a lot of pressure and anxiety and whatnot. And the last time you were here, you said we can do meditation. You can meditate, you can ground, you can breathe. Can we just talk about that and how that is important, even when we're just thinking about
I'll summarize in 3 things. The first one, we call it mindfulness. Mindfulness has to do with nature. Like you see many people with a flower in the office, they don't look at it. Other people have got forest near them, water near them, and they don't use them. That is, meditation means you focus your mind on something that will help you. You are not stopping, because when you stop, it's not also good. But you are somehow directing your mental process into something that cools you down and relaxes you. So anything that can help you. Nature is one. The second is the practices. Like now, gratitude journal, like also reimagining you are in Madrid Islands, wherever your dream is for a vacation. So that kind of imagination. Other practices like religious practices, prayers and all that, all of them, they help you to ground in the here and now. And then there is grounding techniques like breathing in to relax your body and all that. So if you have those practices, they help you calm down. Number 2 is physical exercise. Those people who manage to do rigorous, like walking and they sweat, going to the gym, but still there is this more exercises we can do. Like when you are seated and you do your hands like this, when you are doing like this, something is happening all through your system. When you are seated down and you do your legs like this, when you are doing like that, is an exercise. So there are several types of exercises we can do. Some which are rigorous, which many people go for, which is okay, and others that are exercises that help to lower down the cortisol, adrenaline, so that the stress hormones are reduced and then you calm down. Finally is relationships. And that's why relationships in our marriage, in the partners who are in your life, and you don't have conflict or criticism, you do not have contempt, like someone who is blaming you all the time, you don't have someone who is withdrawing, but someone who is ready to build a house of relationship where there is friendship, where there is repairing when you make mistakes, where there is sharing your meaning in life and dreams, and then yourself, your attitude, even when you are suffering, the kind of attitude you carry, even in suffering, that helps you a lot. So there are all those things that we can help people. And when they come, we don't start with the one. We go through your own life, because you have a unique life, the situation you are in. So there is a relationship or connection with a therapist. There is with the family members. They are with your friends. So any human person who can help you feel a sense of belonging. But basically, like you have said when we started, it is really commendable that many people are starting to
seeking
appreciate
counseling.
the value of counseling, and they are coming to us. Institutions, we have even big organizations in Kenya who are stopping everything, and they invite psychologists to come and give a talk, even if it's 1 hour.
Okay.
And that talk can help people to change whatever situation of life
That
you
they are
are,
going through.
including issues of which the first thing we agreed that infertility or not having a child could be having very good reasons from childhood up to the time you are 35.
Okay.
The second, the emotions that come with it. That is what you are backed. There is hope psychologically to help you. Whatever situation you are in, you still are a human person with dignity. And you can need to raise your self-esteem because you are not determined by whether you are a mother or not. We still have other values that you are already enjoying in the world.
Oh, listen, I'm being pressured. We need to end the show. So I think let's put a pause, okay? But are you able to do, like, can we trust in like 30 seconds? Okay, Dr. Saningo, go. 30 seconds. So what is it that someone can take away from the conversation today? But we'll continue definitely next week on Wednesday.
There is hope for the ladies, as well as anybody with infertility. Get tested.
Okay.
Don't be afraid and don't assume.
That you're okay.
Folklore, old women's tales, wachana nayo.
Okay.
Find out for yourself. Get to see a proper diagnostic system. Find out what it is. Then after you've known the cause, it can be dealt with. Have hope.
Okay. Dr. Kireki, 25 seconds.
25, Amekula 5 seconds.
Amekula 5 seconds.
Anyway, first of all, thank you very much for this show because it brings out issues which are very, very important. And it basically reiterates a time, that time is a factor.
It's a factor.
And we need to think about it, even as we are thinking, we are validating ourselves in other ways. Get tested. Get pregnant, the risk factors that are there, we usually, not usually, we will handle them. Because at the end of the day, what we would like as obstetricians and gynecologists is for these ladies, these young ladies who are 35 and above, to go home with their babies.
Thank you for saying young. Young ladies. But we'll continue with the conversation, next week. So please come back because there's a question of, can we reset? And if so, what do we need to do to reset in terms of the food and whatnot? But also the whole question about if you're there, what then do you do to support your system and everything? So there's so much to come next week on Wednesday. Please make a date for us and we hope that they will also grant us their time. But for now, allow us to say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Thank you so much for really coming by today. We'll also handle the men. So next week is more holistic, not just the women, but also the men. So look forward to that conversation. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. See you tomorrow on Trendy Thursday. Goodbye for now.